Was your day? Did you have to work today? Did you have the day off? Those are questions that you need to answer. So type that in there. Type it in there so it works the algorithm so that it notifies other people. Come on, guys, what's up? I don't know what time it is. It is 10 o'clock. 10 o'clock, Saturday night. Just got back here about 30 minutes ago, probably. What's up? Yo, Bill Ravelli, what's going on? How are you? Shane, Crossbones, what's up? Hello, guys. 10 out of 10. Good work there. 12, now 12-10. Chuck Peoples, what's up? 14 on, only 11 thumbs up. Come on, fix that. Mark Southard, what's up? Big O, what's going on? 16 on, only 11 thumbs up. Fix it, come on. Hit that button. Byron Roberts, what's up? Richard Pope, how are you? How are you? 18 on, 12 on, 12 thumbs up. Come on. Like, for real, if you're going to fucking click on this and even fucking watch this for a second, put the thumbs up in there. What is it? That's why you guys wonder why fucking your friends' businesses don't succeed. You can't even put a thumbs up on some shit on a device you're holding. How in the fuck are your friends' businesses? You wonder why your friends start businesses and then you're like, oh, you've changed. They didn't change. You didn't fucking support them. Sakota, Ireland, what's up? Cody S., what's going on? How are you? 22 people on, 19 thumbs up. 23 on, 19 thumbs up. And I guarantee you half of those 19 have already left here. Just got your FUPA, Francesco. What? Right on, man. What do you think of it? Kilo Bravo, what's up? Cody S., what's going on? Just got my FUPA iPad. Kilo Bravo 6. Have you listened to or read the Going Home series? Every time I'm listening to like book 8 right now, right? And every time I hear Gunny, I fucking picture you. Every single time they say Gunny in there or staff, they call him Staff Sergeant. I think is what they call him. Levan, what's up? Lone Star, how are you? So, did we get anything done this weekend? How was your guys' weekend so far? It's only halfway. You still have half your weekend. Half your weekend. That's for normal motherfuckers, by the way, that weekend shit. That's for normal motherfuckers. If you're not looking forward to every day, you need to change your fucking life some. Don, what's up, buddy? Richard Bennett, what's up? Desert Rat, what's going on? Walmart has all their potato starts out. They've got a lot of fucking potato starts. They've got a lot of garlic starts. They've got all kinds of onion sets, sweet potato starts. They had all kinds of shit out. I bought, I don't know, I bought probably $100 worth of potato starts and onions and garlic. Walmart in Jackson had tons of canning supplies, jars, lids. We haven't seen lids on the shelf in fucking 2 years probably. Sushi was good. Sushi's always good there. We go there and they always make us something not on the menu but we tip them really well, right? We're easy customers. We've never complained, even when they make my shit wrong, which is very, very rare. I've never complained. I've never sent it back. They've realized shit's been wrong and they're like, hey, we'll take it off. I go, you totally don't need to take it off. Totally not necessary. They always make us something off the menu. They always make us something that I'm like, I have to ask, what is this? How do you grow potatoes? Mark, man, it is so simple. And there really seems to be no wrong way to grow potatoes. If you watch how to grow potatoes on YouTube, if you watch 100 videos, they'll all be a little different than each. And some of them are polar opposites of each. You can put potatoes on the ground and put straw over them. You can put potatoes in shitty dirt and pile shitty dirt on top of them. You can put potatoes almost in sand and sawdust. I've seen people grow them in just sawdust. I've seen people grow them in wood chips. I've seen people take hay bales and just kind of like slice holes in the hay bale with a small hand shovel and drop a potato in there. They're just little seed potatoes with eyes. And what's going to happen is this green stuff, this vine kind of is going to grow out the top of them. And then you pile more dirt on them and you keep doing that. I've seen people not pile them. I've seen people do them in hills. I've seen people do them in rows. I've seen people do them just flat, just in the ground a little bit. I do them in like half whiskey barrels. So I bought a bunch of half whiskey barrels. The price went up. They're super heavy. Half a whiskey barrel is very heavy. So I bought a bunch of fake whiskey barrels last year, plastic ones. You want to get, 20, 25 gallon. And there's different sizes. They'll all look the same, but the ones at Tractor Supply are bigger than the ones that Lowe's has. So those are like 25, 30 gallons. And you just put your seed potato. And a seed potato is nothing more than a little potato that's starting to grow an eye. You can buy grocery store potatoes. They're typically chemically treated so they won't sprout, but they will eventually sprout. And then you could even take that big seed potato from the grocery store when it starts sprouting all those eyes and chop it into 2 or 3 pieces, and each of those is a start. And then you put 2, 3, 4 of those things into your bucket, and there's a ton of people on YouTube growing them in 5-gallon buckets. There's literally nothing to growing, and your easiest calories to grow are going to be carbohydrates, and they're going to be tubers. There's a YouTube channel called David the Good. David the Good. It's survival gardening with David the Good. He was on DAP 2030 recently. That's how I heard about him. And then his videos started popping. But his whole thing is survival gardening. And he says his big thing is do not plant you don't have to put them in square foot gardens. You don't have to put them in rows. He's like, think about it. You go through all these farmlands, thousands and thousands of acres of farmland, and none of that shit is grown in a square foot garden. None of it's grown in a raised bed. Imagine if we had to grow all of our crops in, 4x8 raised beds. How much we'd have to fucking deforest the entire world to do it. He's like, I planted in the ground. I had terrible, shitty soil. And he says, I just plant things, and some of them work, some of them don't. I have trees in with all of my other plants. Those provide shade for certain things. And I'm constantly chopping and dropping, and that rots and becomes soil. And he's growing in just terrible sand. And he said he puts in cover crops. So he'll grow like black-eyed peas and a couple of other different kinds of peas because those are a nitrogen fixer. And then they put those roots in the ground, and you leave those roots there. You don't pull them out. Just like my raised beds outside, I've probably got about 50 raised beds. And they have all the plants in them from last year. We're about to go through and clear them out. We won't pull those out. We'll leave all that shit in the soil. We will just cut the parts on top. Because that's all just penetration for any type of, rabbit manure we put on top, or fish emulsion, or molasses, or anything. Now, we started with expensive potting soil. But I do have a lot of property here that's growing really well that started as just a gravel pit. But you can do anything. Like, literally, you can do anything. Most people don't know that because they don't bother to try, because somebody who didn't fucking try anything told them they couldn't do it. Ready to head south? Right on. Spent the day getting ready? Right on. Jen, how's the finger? What happened to Jen? I tried 5-gallon buckets, did okay, but I think I need bigger containers. Absolutely. Absolutely, bigger containers. I got 17 pounds of sweet potatoes. I didn't even water them. The rain was the only water they got. I set them out in the sun. When it really got hot, we put some shade cloth over all that garden area. I left them in the ground probably 3 months too long. And then Dawn asked me, hey, how did your sweet potatoes do? He had sent me a video of some people we follow on YouTube who grew a ton of sweet potatoes, and they said they didn't produce for shit. They were really disappointed, and they're going to try something different this year. They said that last year about this year. So Dawn's like, hey, how did those do? I go, I don't know. I need to pull them out. I'll pull them out and make a video. We have still not ever put that video together. I have a lot of footage of it, but we just pulled them out, brought them inside, shook the dirt off of them. I didn't wash them or anything. I put them in a blue Rubbermaid tub like one of these, weighed them, and they weigh 17 pounds. There's 17 pounds of potatoes in the tub with no effort. Had an accident with a chicken heart and a big kid. Oh, the cat got you? Certain plants, food producing, especially do a pH range suited for your liking. Yeah, and then they'll tell you how to fix it. And you can do, fucking fertilizer, 10-10-10, whatever, whatever they say you need. Or you could add the things that will add that to it. The chemical fix is always the fastest fix, but it doesn't really, it's very temporary. Whereas if you fix it for real, it's much longer lasting. Alcohol super glue, right on. I left a bag of potatoes in the truck on my car and they started sprouting. Yep. Grew potatoes for the first time last year. You mentioned the importance of silage tarps. They're definitely required. You may want to elaborate. Okay, so everybody has this perceived idea that gardening is very labor intensive. And you're right. But it doesn't have to be. Because what's the first thing everybody wants to do when they put a garden in? They want to till the fucking soil. What does tilling the soil do? It disturbs the soil. It brings other seeds up top. It brings them to light, and it causes them to grow grass when you disturb the soil. If you put a silage tarp down, it can be black plastic tarp. You could use giant fucking trash bags cut in half if you had to, or you can use billboard vinyl. That's a company, billboardvinyl.com. You can buy silage tarps from Farmer's Friend sells silage tarps. That's who my greenhouse is from. And it's just a big piece of vinyl you put over the ground. You throw some rocks on it, and you leave it ideally for 3 months at least. And it's going to cook. It's just going to sit there. But what it's going to do is it's going to raise the temperature, and it's going to take all the seeds that are in the ground from last year, and it's going to warm them up, and it's going to trick them into sprouting, and they're going to grow. But they can't get any sunlight, so they're going to die. So there's not going to be any seeds in that soil, for the most part, when you plant your shit, right? And when you roll that thing back after about 90 days, 6 months, longer the better, when you roll it back, you have nice brown organic material. It's like nice potting soil almost. But there's no weeds that can grow there. And then you plant whatever you're going to plant right there. You can also use weed matting. I have weed matting, and there's a lot of people that have weed matting, and they'll just do a 20 by 20 area or 100 by 20 or 100 by 50 foot area. You can buy weed matting 13 feet long, wide rolls. You can buy 5 feet, 6 feet. I believe they got 8. I think I bought 6 foot wide weed matting, overlapped it 12 inches, put in 3 rows, right? So I'm about 16, 17 feet wide by 50 feet long. No weeds grow there ever. They won't grow through there. Now, if you want to grow through there, you can just take a torch. They've got burners. They've got all kinds of shit that you can just burn your holes and plant your tomatoes right there. You could put trellises. You could put overhead stuff, whatever you want. And then you use a drip irrigation system. And your drip irrigation system, I would go through like Grower Supply Warehouse or one of those places, and they have low pressure systems, so you can run them off gravity fed water. So you don't have to have high pressure like city water. You can also do that, and then they have filters that'll pull chlorine and also reduce all of your pressure. And you just have a main line, and then you plug your runs into it, and then from your runs you can do emitter heads, you can do drip, you can do whatever you want. But basically, on your tomatoes, you're going to space them, every 2 feet apart, 3 feet apart, whatever you want to do. And you're going to have an emitter head right there or a drip right there. And all you're going to do is that thing's on a timer, and it's going to water your plants however you have them set to water. And it's going to be just black plastic, and no weeds can grow through there. It works really well. I did it last year. 58 on, 53 thumbs up, and I guarantee you half of those 53 that did that are not even here. This little asshole right here got outside and was outside all night. He did not like it. We could not find him. He was huddled up, hiding. The other 2 cats were out there this morning. I went out there early this morning, saw him. He came out. I petted him. He would not let me grab him. Scared to death. Curious if he'll run out again or not. My problem with plastic could keep the ground too wet, rotting the roots of plants. Tilling those help oxygen into the soil. Greg, you do whatever you want to do, buddy. You do whatever you want to do. If there's plastic over the ground, your soil can't be too wet. The rain can't get to it. If you take a sheet of plastic that's 100 by 100 feet your ground is going to be dry underneath. Now, I mean, I'm sure you have some situation I'm not aware of. I don't care. Like, whatever works for you, man, fucking you do that. Stuck outside in the cold. Boy, it got cold today. It was like 20 this morning when I was feeding animals. We ran up to a big, huge surplus warehouse, and it was fucking cold there. I stood outside, flew the drone. There's a big, huge Tyson feed plant there with rail tracks that they run the trains through the building. They bring the train cars inside the building, pull through the building, and they drop down from these huge silos. And they got these big, giant towers. And I flew the drone around there. I actually thought I crashed the drone. I had the drone in sport mode, and I don't know how many stories. I'm probably 10, 15 stories up in the air, flying around these shafts that have stairwells. And where the camera looks, when you're looking at the monitor, where you look like you are on the monitor is very different when you look at where the drone is with your eyes. And I watched the drone fly right into the stairwell, and I thought, oh shit, I crashed this drone. And then I realized it went out, it flew right through the stairwell, it didn't touch anything, and I was on the other side of the stairwell on these silos. And they're huge. Like, I would love to get a tour of that place. I'm sure they have some kind of tour they give like school kids and shit. I would love to know just kind of how that works there. It's pretty neat. 60, it was 70 here yesterday, but yeah, 60 in Delaware, dropping to 20. That's how it was here, man. That's exactly how it was. We went out looking for Cooter and found out his little got froze. Professional landscaper, owner, operator. It's a problem we encounter up here. Right on, right on. Dude, you know what works, and that's the thing, right? That's really the thing. There are 100 ways to do the exact same thing. Guys are like, how should I work out? I don't know. I could give you 20 workouts. Well, you should probably do the one that you'll actually do. But when you till the soil, you are always going to have weeds. We're talking on Bermuda grass, Ravelli. I'm talking on wild grass, right? You chop that shit up, you're going to fucking triplicate it. I'm not talking about last year's crop and tilling it under to rot in the soil. I'm not talking about putting a bunch of leaves and stuff on the soil and tilling them. If you till your soil, that's all big farm shit. It only works because of Monsanto, ConAgra, the same place. Do you know that all your corn, all your soybeans, they spray that shit multiple times? They have a genetic seed that will grow in Roundup. Right before they harvest your soybeans, they spray it again to dry it out. That's why you have glyphosate in all of your fucking kid cereal. You have glyphosate in every fucking grain crop that you eat. There is glyphosate when they test it. They test school children, and there's glyphosate in all of your school kids if you fucking feed them any Kellogg's products or anything of the like. I guess Russia is invade Wednesday. How nice of them to schedule that. Yeah, exactly. Plus clay mud in the garden, raised beds from here out. I have rock. I don't want to bend over. That's why I'm doing raised beds. I'm 50. My leg kind of hurts. It's been hurting today. I was walking around in here the other day barefoot, but I had socks on, and when I got up, I slipped, right? So I twisted something a little bit. I just don't want to fucking bend over. But if you're going to grow enough food to produce if I'm going to grow enough shit to produce for me and the people just close to me and around me, like close people, right? Not people that live near me, people that are close to me. I can't do that in just raised bed gardens. And this was a gravel pit. Like, we had zero dirt. The only thing that would grow on this 10 acres when we bought this property were little tiny saplings, pine trees, and blackberries. There was nothing else here. From dumping wood chips, thousands of loads of wood chips, and running wood chippers, and bringing in hundreds of loads of big fucking wood, cut down wood and shit, and shipping it. That rotting down, running goats behind it, running chickens over it. That's the only way we have soil now. We built the soil over a period of almost 7 years. Spent $10 on some old cookbooks, looked through them, 5 ingredients or less, mostly harvested at home. That's great. That's great. The older your cookbook, the more you're going to be able to do it right without the grocery store, because everything now is made almost as though it is designed so that you have to rely on the systems. The more I fuck with this thing, the cooler it is. I filled it up with a bunch of change out of a cup. I don't know how much is in here. We'll probably do a video, count it out tomorrow, see who wins this. These are online. These are online. They're called 5x7 Right in the Rain cover. I think that's what if you look up 5x7 or Right in the Rain, you'll find it. It's on the website now. There's no photos. There's a brief description, and there are some drop-down boxes. Biden told Putin not to invade on Tuesday. That's his ice cream day. Building the soil is an amazing example of doing shit, not to mention the rest of the SB comment. It takes some work, man. It takes some work, especially when we started doing it, when most of the labor on the property was done, I could not afford a tractor. When we bush hogged the place down, all the saplings, and by saplings, I mean stuff that's like 6 inches around or less. It's not really big enough. Like if you cut it as firewood, you wouldn't split it. You would burn it bark on. Like that, right? When we started doing the property, I did everything with a Craftsman. I still have them. There's 3 Craftsman lawnmowers sitting in the back corner, broken down. They still start. When I put gas in them and start them up, put a battery in them, they start. But they're just destroyed. The decks are destroyed. We had one we just kept the deck off of and used it just to tow shit around to begin with. It was really just for towing like tilt trailers, little tilt trailers like the Craftsman trailers and stuff, you know, they're lawn series shit. And that's what we did. Probably 90% of the work on the property was done with those 3 Craftsman riding lawnmowers. I would literally drop one off Monday morning at Jesse's up the road here, a broken one, and I would pick up my one that he had fixed the week before. So he constantly always had one. He'd take parts off of other mowers and other brand mowers and make them work with mine. I was breaking the pumps. I was breaking the spindles. I was breaking everything on them. We would never sharpen a blade. I would literally snap blades. We'd put new blades on there. I think it had three blades in those decks. We'd put 3 blades on, and I wouldn't be on the property for an hour, and one of those blades would be half broken off. Like I would just, you can still find blades around the property when you're walking around slowly, and where we hogged it down. We were just, because everything was rock here. I would hit rocks, and it would break the rocks into smaller rocks. Got my EDC belt coming right on. Did you ever decide if you're going to make the sap? I'm not happy with how it came out. I had to walk away from it. I made it like 4 or 5 times that day, and it wasn't something I wanted to put my name on. And I'm not pleased with the way it's working right now. So I needed to walk away, and we'll revisit it. Hairy homeowner mowers, like the old watches, take a licking, right? Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Looking forward to next weekend. Looking forward to see you, Jen. I got my Slim Padded H set ordered. Can't wait to see how much the difference it makes. It makes a difference. The biggest difference is it's faster to put on. Back to great grandma stuff. Get in the old antique stores and the old bookstores. You'll find lots of books like that. Look at especially anytime you see a Ball Blue book, look at them. They change drastically over time. Good used car is a pain in the ass. Yeah, man. Yeah, those 2 things don't go together anymore. Will you be making active shooter bags? We just made somebody an active shooter bag because we had one on order. Somehow we have another one on order too that's being made. Is that you? Or you want one and don't have one on order? We're going out in the woods, and we're just going to take a rake the leaves over, and take some tubs with some mesh on top and just put scoops of soil in there because we want the loam. We want the loam, and I want the microbes that are in there. out of the forest soil. We also go out and rake leaves in the fall out in our woods and other woods and fill up big 70-gallon trash bags. We just kind of slide them in, big pile, push them in, and we take those leaves and throw them in the compost because it inoculates the compost pile with those microbes. Yeah, you can send me an email, Benito. We'll talk about what color and everything. Found a couple tree guys. Said they're going to start dropping wood chips on your prop. That's great, man. That's great. Most tree places don't chip that shit. It is a lot of labor to chip and make wood chips out of that. Most of them just dump that shit someplace if they have to take it off site. They'll have a grapple truck or they'll use a tractor with a grapple and just load up a flatbed or a dump truck. I think they're about food prep and acquisition back in the pioneering days. Yes, absolutely. How do you make new friends that aren't just lazy losers? If you do shit worth doing, you're going to be doing it someplace that other people are doing the same shit. And you're going to make friends in that manner. If you're the smartest dude in the room, you're in the wrong fucking room. If you do a lot of good, it will attract people who want to be involved in what you're doing. I can't tell you how to go. You just have to talk to people, right? If you want to know people that are physically active, go kayaking. Anybody out there is probably physically active who's in a fucking kayak. Go mountain biking. You want to learn how to do archery? Archery dudes are actually very helpful. Archery dudes are outside dudes. Whether you're interested in archery or not, it's going to be a dude that hunts. It's going to be a dude that preps. It's going to be a dude that just likes to shoot the fucking bow and wants to be better at it. But if you go where archery dudes are typically pretty fucking friendly and will help you out. I would say the same thing of ham radio guys. Get you, just break into that entry level. You can get into ham radio for $100 and just start going to some ham radio meets. Go to some of the ham radio swap meets. Go to where people are gardening. Join a gardening club. You're going to find people that want to be involved. Like, I am super fucking lucky that Amanda will do anything I want to do and be interested in it. We went to a surplus store today that's probably 3 times as big as my building here. Amanda bought more shit than I bought today. Amanda tried on overalls and bear suits and Arctic clothes. She tried on all kinds of shit. I bought 3 huge fucking dry bags full of gear. The dudes over there are fucking awesome. Like these are brand new. They have the ADS tags in them, the Arctic stuff, the 7-layer suits, right, for the cold, super extreme cold weather. I don't know what the fucking government paid for these, but I'll bet you it's over $1,000 a set. I'll bet it's way over that. And those are hers. Those things are literally like the heavyweight bag of the sleeping bag system. So just go places. Like, you don't have a woman. People are always like, how do I get my wife to do this? You married the wrong bitch. Like, that sucks for you. You're invested in that. You married the wrong one if you have to make her or convince her or train her or teach her to do any of that shit. You should have fucking waited. You were impatient. Is that the one in No, I don't even know what's up in Kentucky. What's in Kentucky? You know what's cool? Amanda and I drove there, and the GPS took us away we hadn't been. There are some fucking beautiful properties out there. A lot of like event farms, right? Set up for wedding venues and shit. Beautiful. So we drove around a lot, saw some property we had never seen before. But as I'm pulling into the lot where the surplus store is, a car's coming out that I recognize, and it's Cody. It's Cody in Montana. And I'm like, what the fuck are you doing up here? He goes, we just came by here. I just wanted to see the place. I heard you talk about it. So Cody got up this morning and left about 30 minutes before I did, well, an hour probably, and went to the surplus store. And then Amanda and I are pulling in as he's pulling out. I got the right, thank God for my wife. Yeah, cash. Absolutely, man. Absolutely. Amanda wants to fucking kayak all the time. I'm like, I don't want to fucking drag a 100-pound boat down the rocks to go kayaking. She would go kayaking all the fucking time. I just have other shit I want to do. She loves kayaking. because she doesn't have to haul the boat. She was way more excited to be there than I was. Yeah, but she had never seen it before, right? She'd heard Scully and I talk about it. We go in, when Jeff and I go in there, we usually go in with an excursion and a trailer. And when we leave, the excursion and the trailer are completely full. Like, we buy so much shit that we can't haul anymore. And if the trailer's not full, we buy more shit and fill the trailer, so we don't have to make it. So the trip's 100%, you know, at capacity. Read Kathy the list of demos going on next weekend. She's stoked. I think there's going to be a lot more too, right? I have people just showing up that, like, if you just talk to people in the crowd, you will be mind blown as to who is here and what they do for work and what they do for a living. And it's not all like prepping survival, right? There's a lot of dudes from the gun industries. There's a lot of guys from different walks of life here. Just people attending. Like, there's people here that do huge construction projects and know how to do anything. And that's the whole thing, is just knowing the guy that knows how to do it. Like, I was talking to Thad. I was talking to Thad when he was dropping my building off, and he said, you need a cistern. I go, I'd love to have a cistern, but where would I put it? He's like, you'd put it right here, under this, right here where we're gonna put all this concrete. And I go, how the fuck would I do that though? He goes, you use culverts, man. He goes, every city road you drive over has culverts under it. He goes, we're just gonna put a concrete box in the ground. I go, but I have to have semi-trucks come in here. He goes, yeah, we're gonna put a concrete box in the ground. You're gonna have an access port, you're gonna have an inlet and an outlet, and we're gonna put a concrete cap over the top of it. We're gonna use a little crane or a high lift. We're gonna put a cap over the top of it, and you're gonna put your dirt and then your gravel back over it, or pave it or whatever, and semi-trucks can drive over it all day long. He's like, you gotta stop thinking home building and start thinking commercial building. And that shit's expensive until you know the dude that knows where the thing is that's sitting there being unused, that was left over from a project, and you can buy it at, you know, half the cost. Thad from Going Home series? No, Thad, no. My boy Fat Nuts. Fat Nuts. You'll see him on YouTube. He's usually on my Facebook. He's on my Instagram. They build big, huge steel buildings, but like real ones, big ones. Municipal buildings, mega churches, huge buildings they build. I got another buddy that does paving and asphalt, like on a huge level. Local surplus stores are lacking surplus. It's mostly airsoft. Yeah, these guys are lacking all kinds of stuff. Tons. Like, I'm like, hey, do you have any Gore-Tex? He's like, no, nobody has any Gore-Tex right now. I said, you got any 3-component sleep systems? He said, we just have all these ratty ones, all these single components. And I said, yeah, man, I see them going for like $350, $375. He goes, yeah, we sell them for $175, good condition when we have them. He said, but we haven't seen them in a while. The owner just went to an auction last week, got a ton of shit that's coming in. And they have another auction coming up where there's supposed to be a bunch of stuff releasing from the U.S. military. Nicole is talking about networking. I'm going to be on the lookout for a beef man. I'm done buying overpriced crap meat. We got a guy, Austin. I got a guy. He's a kid. I say kid like he's 16, 17 years old. Has a bunch of cows right in Paris here. I've got a dude. I got another buddy. You weren't here. BJ came in, owns the butcher shop. He has cows. You need cows? I can get you as much fucking cow as you want. You want half a cow? You want quarter a cow? You want a full cow? Get your freezer first, and we'll get that set up, man. He'll cut it however you want it. Hernandez, what's up, buddy? Cody's for hauling the boats. Yeah, no shit. No shit. But then it changes from me and Amanda to we got to load 5 boats, right? I have 5 or 6 kayaks. I don't even remember how many I have. I want to put a system in here with a hoist where we just lower them down like they have at REI, right? So we have like a mesh, a compressed metal platform or just some welded bars with 4 corners where it comes down. We put the kayaks on there and then suck them up to the roof. I would like to have them in here. We just have so much dead headspace in this building I'd like to utilize. I live near Paris, Texas, that is. Our Paris has Eiffel Tower with a cowboy hat. Lone Star, we have a Paris, Tennessee here, and it has an Eiffel Tower there also. It's not very big, though. It's pretty cool. I mean, it's probably, I don't know, it's probably 40, 50 feet tall, maybe. 17 square feet for cow on the freezer. 17 square feet. You can't put a whole cow in 17 square feet, though, right? I bought half a cow, and I think my freezer's 18 square feet. I think it filled more than that. Thinking about putting some of my favorite recipes together for folks up there for the harvest for the gardens. Right on. Right on. Will it fit a Savannah or 4? I love kayaking. Yeah, I have Jackson kayaks, and they're very stable. And typically, like when you go look at kayaks, right, you're going to have dealers just like Ford and Chevy, and a lot of shops have a lot of stuff. But Jackson kayak is a big, stable kayak. They have different versions, but people stand on them and cast and fish. There's 2-person boats, which if you want to stay married, don't get a fucking 2-person boat. 2-person boat's bigger. That means you can put more cargo and more cool shit on them, and you're going to kind of sit in the middle. But I've also got some pedal. You know, they have different maneuver propulsion systems. And there's Jackson kayak and there's Hobie, and they're both fucking cool boats. They're both heavy boats. But just like everything, there are groups for kayak fishing. And if you start looking, I like the kayak fishing groups because the boats are all set up. You see just what you can really do with them. You can still tour with them. You can still paddle with them. You can take all the fucking weight off of them. But you'll really get an idea. And they trade hands. There's a ton of kayaks for sale on Craigslist and Marketplace and in these kayak groups. And a lot of these kayak guys travel multiple states because they're doing fishing tournaments. So when they come into town to fish, they'll bring 2 or 3 used boats with them. So you should look at that also. I just bought 18 square for full beef. Right on, man. I will send you a video of Kita's brother kayaking. Right on. What's the 30-inch bag? So we make a bag called the deplorable bag. And I right now have them in multicam. I have them in Raid. And I think I have them in multicam Tropic, I think. It's a 30-inch bag. You can put rifles in it. It's Velcro lined on the walls, so you can put our mesh pockets, and you can put a lot of mesh pockets in there. So you can divide all your shit, or you can put our mag cards in there so you can stand all your magazines vertical. Anything Velcro backed will stick to the walls. It's got a sleeve in the bottom. It does not come with a sheet of plastic. You got to source your own sheet of plastic, or just cut a piece of, board, a piece of wood of some kind, and just slide in there. You could use fiberglass, whatever. You could use cutting boards, whatever you want to put in there to make the floor rigid if you choose to do so. It's got a shoulder strap that goes end to end, and it's got very robust handles that cradle all the way underneath it. And the handles are longer, so you can put the handles on your shoulder. A roof rack for kayaks that lowers. Yeah, we've seen them, Brian. Try loading it by yourself. Like it's all doable, right? I carried a kayak around on top of the Blazer for fucking 2 years, and we took it off of there once a week probably and put it out in the ocean all the time. And that was a Dagger Frolic, I think is what I had. It was a lighter boat. It was probably 65 pounds. But these boats are probably 120 pounds. That's without anything on them. All of my trucks are somewhat taller. And it's just a fucking pain in the ass. So anytime we take them, we just throw them in a trailer. And I really need to get a designated trailer for kayaks. Philip Strother, what's up? How are you? I really like the 4-inch round duffel for the carrot cake pouch. Oh, got you. Yeah, those are cute, aren't they? They're usable. $79 people on here. These are online for everybody that was asking about the 5x7 Right in the Rain covers. I put these online right before I started the video. These are available. There's several color options, and then there's a custom option. So if you want your own color or whatever, pick the custom option. Make sure that you put in notes what color combo you want. So if you order like, woodland and yellow, you're going to get woodland with yellow stitching. I don't have yellow edge tape, or maybe I do. We're going to put, we're going to do what we can to get that other color on there for you. Some of it will be limited to just thread color, though. Two-person boats or comms on a motorcycle. I've had good luck, and I know there's all kinds of comm shit out there now. I've had good luck with rugged radios. I have rugged intercoms in the Razors. I have rugged intercoms in the helmets for the motorcycles. I have impact helmets that came from Rugged, my full carbon fiber helmets, and they have air pumper systems in them too. So I have a positive air system so that I don't have dust coming all through my face and everything. They work really well until you get underwater with them. And that one I actually landed off of a double that was full of mud, and the water rolled over the hood into my lap and up and pushed into my helmet. So I was actually had a face full. I had a helmet full of mud and water all at the same time. Woodland is sold out. Okay, something's askew there. Let me fix this. Go ahead and look at the wall for a minute. When we built this building out, there's no drywall in here. I had them put plywood everywhere, thin skin plywood, and then it's painted. And we put plywood in so that if we ever needed to work on it, we could repair it or replace it myself if need be. So there's no sheetrock in here, which is kind of retarded to do it. It's very, very expensive to do it that way. We could have done the build out for probably 30% less if we'd have gone sheetrock. Those clothes bags are also online now. Kirby, good night, man. Okay, that should be fixed now. It should be doable. Having the right people around you or the right space. Absolutely, man. It has to. Otherwise you're fighting a constant battle. Imagine what, like, look at it like this, right? What do you pay in taxes? You don't have to answer that. I want you to think about it in your head. What do you pay in taxes? What could you do in your life if you didn't have to give half of everything you earned to somebody who gives you nothing for it? And that's what that's like. Being around people who are going to tell you you can't do something, or being around a spouse who doesn't support what you do, you're just fighting a losing battle. Imagine what you could accomplish if people fucking were behind you and wanted you to accomplish what you were trying to do. At the beginning of the video, I said, look, there's 30 people on here and 10 thumbs ups. People start businesses and start running their businesses, and their old friends, the people they used to hang out with, are like, man, you're changed. You're an asshole. He didn't change. He just did something that made his life better, and you're not fucking helping in any way do that, right? You're not referring work to him. You're not in there helping him do the work. Fuck, you guys get online, people get online. How many videos do you watch through the day where you don't give a thumbs up? It doesn't cost you anything. People watch videos and can't even push the button to say, hey, I like this. They're definitely not going to help a motherfucker do some shit when it comes time to do real shit. They can't even push a button. It takes nothing, and already has the device in their hand. Sheetrock isn't as strong or long life durable as plastic. Oh, of course it's not. Absolutely. Did the same thing on my place, not as big, right on. When food was homegrown and made with love. But imagine, so in 1971, a single father could work a single job and support his wife and 2.5 kids and own a home and own a car and pay all their bills in 1971. In 1971, that all changed. That all changed. And now you have people working you have husband and wife working 2 jobs, and one, if not both, working a second part-time job, and cannot pay their fucking bills. Do you know what happened in 1971 where that changed? Do you know what the difference is between now and then? Jen, I was born in 1971 as well. December 4th, 1971, Beaumont, Texas. Creation of the 401k. I didn't know that, but it's the gold standard. They took us off the gold standard. The money doesn't mean anything. They had to have, they don't have to have accountability now. So their money gets bigger while your money gets smaller. Their value goes up because they're invested in things that hold value while you're working just barely paying your bills. They figured out how to make it so you had less value in your money, so you had to be more of a slave. You have a gray crossbody. It says sold out. Can I purchase the gray? Go about that. Let me look and see. Let's make sure that it did not sell tonight or yesterday. W83. Where are you located, man? Not like specifically, like what state are you in? Crossbody bag, crossbody bag. All I want for Christmas is a crossbody bag, gray. Order, inventory history. November, okay, yeah, I can put that online. 50 years later, the petrodollar is almost dead. It is. Russia and China just did the biggest deal in the world, and they did it in Bitcoin. Good moist Saturday. It actually rained this morning. When we got in the truck, it was raining a little bit. I'm trying to find the right folks to hook up with. I feel so fucking alone sometimes. Where are you? Like what state? What do you do for work? How old are you? Liberty, what up? If you get involved, you might should get involved in the survival podcast groups, because they do have meetups. A lot of those people come together. I've been at them where there's dozens of people I don't know because of the survival podcast. MeWe has a very active group on MeWe for the survival podcast. Telegram, they've got a Telegram group for the survival podcast. But you'll meet, I mean, he's got a listener audience of fucking 1 million a day or something. I mean, it's huge. It's enormous. There's 3,000 episodes. And if you just start getting involved in those communities, you will find people near you. Come take a tactical response class. I watch people all the time come to tactical response, make new friends, and literally find people that live in their neighborhood, like literally live within a mile of each other, that never would have met had they not come and taken a TAC response class. It would be awesome if you added a belt loop to the 3-cell organizer. I intentionally didn't want a belt loop on it. I want it to go inside a pocket. I didn't want it on my belt. And you're the only dude that asked for a belt loop. So put that out there somewhere to EDC guys and groups you're in, and tell them how awesome it'd be with a belt loop. Get them to agree and get a dozen people to build them, and I'll do 12 of them next week. What platform is survival and tips on that you mentioned on the live stream? Instagram. He's on Instagram and Facebook. And I think he's coming out here next week. I'm not positive, but he is, and I don't know if I'm supposed to say this or not. He's going to be interviewed on the Survival podcast. Jack's interviewing him. I gave him a little introduction, and he filled his form out. And he sent me a screenshot the other day. Jack's wife said, hey, can you be on these dates? So he's going to be on the Survival podcast shortly here. I host meetups and do so much to build community. And after years, I have a very small, close group. Lone Star, man. It's because people aren't who they seem to be. People watch my videos and they're like, I want to come and be a part of that. So they come and work. Like, if you want to, people are like, I want to come hang out with you. You can't fucking hang out with me. The only way you're going to have any time with me is to come here and work here. And most people they do what it takes to get the job. They never do enough to keep the job. So they come in and they realize, oh, it's not what the videos look like. This guy actually fucking works all the fucking time. If you see me sitting down, it's because I'm taking 5 minutes to post one thing on all my different platforms. Because if I don't make any social media posts, it's a couple $1,000s in sales less every fucking day. If I take a day and don't make any social media, it's a minimum of $2,000 in sales less. So I sit down for 5 minutes and make a couple posts a few times a day. Like, if you see me sitting, that's what I'm doing. If I sit still, I fall asleep. So you don't get time. I don't have time for people that I don't know. So if you want to be close to me, you got to come in and keep my pace. And that's dead fucking real. Come to one of our parties, events, whatever. Come in usually the night before. There's a bunch of people here. Like, when we do a big party, people start getting in town around Wednesday. And then they're here Thursday, in and out through here, kind of in the way. And then they're here Friday, and they're really in the way. And we typically send all the girls home on a half day that day. And then we kind of move shit around in the shop how we need it. And then we hang out until, 8, 9, 10 o'clock at night, get some pizzas. And that's the only time you'll see me sit around and maybe have a drink and sit on a couch or a leather chair or something. But the day of the party, I'm fucking busier than I am any other day. I'm more busy when I have people here because I'm constantly taking people around and showing them what they want to see and giving them information about whatever it is they asked about. Like, I am fucking dead tired at the end of one of our parties. or these events. They're not even parties anymore. Yeah, and you better figure that's what they're always like, what's the address? Motherfucker, if you can't figure out what my address is, like, I definitely don't want you anywhere fucking near me. Like, if you're, because it's not that you're too dumb, it's that you're too fucking lazy. We're going to be scouting podcasts when we are out there. Would love to add some homesteading, medical, cooking, gardening folk. Right on. Right on. Jen, check out Prepping 2.0. That's Glenn Tate. That's Glenn Tate. He has a syndicated radio show on several channels, and then his podcast. Personally, I think his podcast is too short. I think they get their people on. They get their people on. Their guests come on. They distract their guest, or the co-host fucking sidetracks the guest, and then the show runs for an hour, and then it's over. Like, you have you have a guest on that you're just fucking amazingly lucky to have gotten this guest, and then you don't get any good information out of the guest, and then the show's fucking over. Like, it's just fucking insane. Spearco's show is a different animal, but you're looking for different things, right? When you consume content all the time in a certain genre, you're always hungry for more of it. So there are others, but the other prepper podcasts out there, they just fucking suck. Like, they'll just do an episode like once a week, and then maybe a month later. Like, there's no continuity to it. Thinking, since I have Velcro on the back, is there a way to make a male-backed Velcro belt loop so you can slap it on? You could. You would fucking hate it. Well, I mean, maybe you're not going to take it off, right? So you're not going to peel it off of there, I assume. It's just going to live there. That would probably work, except you're probably, I mean, it's not ideal, dude. You're trying to fix something. You're trying to make a little two-wheel drive car go off-road. Like, could you do it? Yes. When you sit down, is it going to peel off? When you catch this getting in and out of the seat, is it going to peel off? Is there going to be a right in the rain pad in here? If there is, it's rigid and it's going to peel off. If you were to take it off and leave that Velcro panel on your belt, it's going to eat the shit out of your shirt every time you take it off. It's going to fuck that inside hem of the shirt up. I got 20 reasons not to do it. Glock Almighty, what's up? Purchase made crossbody, right on. Thanks for the order. Your checkbook cover just fucked you up. It probably won't ship. Unless you're just lucky enough that you ordered a checkbook cover we have. In some ways, it's for selfish reasons, but I definitely want people to link up. Yeah, it's absolutely. So I want people to link up and start projects together that benefit all of us. What I don't want to have to do is be the dude that has to organize and keep everybody motivated to do the project that they all were interested in seeing happen. See, that's the thing with most people. They want to see something happen or have access to something, but not when it puts them out in any manner, right? Think about people that put on these events, right? Think about Spearco. He can only have 60 people come because that's the most cars he can park. He can only park like 20 cars at his place. Now, people come, but his property's only 3 acres. Nicole, she can only have so many people come because of parking and size, right? And she's pretty rural. But the amount of fucking time and preparation that goes into these things, and people want to come out and see these things, but they don't want to actually do it, right? Everybody likes the idea of being prepared. What's the ultimate being prepared? Is having a homestead, small farm, right? A lot of food production, a lot of capacity, being able to grow the food for your animals. Your animals don't give a shit if it's fucking cold outside or it's storming. They still expect you to come feed them. And when you don't, they stop laying eggs. There's some margin in there, some fudge factor. You can maneuver it, right? If you know it's 10 degrees outside at 6 in the morning, and by 10 o'clock it's going to be 30, 40 degrees, you could definitely do that. But you have to feed living things, and you have to care for them. There's not a time when you get to just decide you're not going to do it. And try to get a fucking person to come take care of your property while you're gone for a weekend if you have a fucking goat that you got to milk once a day or a cow that you have to milk twice a day. This is Danny Dean. Danny Dean, what up, buddy? What up? Most people don't want to sacrifice. They want the second it's over to sacrifice. Yeah, and I think it's even beyond that, right? They just want to feel, they want to sample it, right? I think that's what a lot of it is. They just want to sample it. They still want to be able to do all the comfort. They want the comfortable things. And they don't want to ever have to be cold or tired or hungry or wet. They just want to come and taste it and then go home and feel like they're somehow better prepared because they came out and saw it. Like most of the shit we do right now, like you could never do in a city. Like it literally requires, this is like you're going to put your toe into this and see what this looks like to go home and try to talk your spouse into moving. And if she didn't come with you, you're probably not talking her into moving. And even if she came, you're probably not talking her into moving. You got the wrong one. Business plan, private school, teaching home. Right on. That's cool. You don't even have to teach it to kids. You just put kids in it. It's all shit kids want to do. Start misfeeding your animals and you'll introduce stress, something you won't enjoy for long. True, true. And you can feed animals shitty, low quality feed and they will starve to death. Like you can feed them as much as they'll eat and they will die. Paul, sounds Uline, I think. What are we talking about Uline? What are we asking? Where do you buy Mylar bags? Oh, Uline. I sell Mylar bags. I don't even have them populated. I have a dealer account with some manufacturers. We just never even fucking shipped them. I kept them all for myself. Uline has them. Websterant has them. I buy them by the 1,000. That's how they come in a case. You might, if you need less, right? If you don't need, and be honest with yourself, right? Am I going to use 1,000 Mylar bags? Is this something I'm sampling and I want to try out? Or is this something I'm really going to do? Before you buy 1,000 bags. You can buy bags on Amazon. You can buy a dozen or 2 dozen bags off Amazon. Like, do you have, you can buy a whole pallet. A pallet is 144, it's a gross. 144 buckets from Uline. That's what comes on a pallet. That's 4 rows. And it doesn't come with lids. To buy the 144 buckets and the lids, it's like $2,800. And that's shipped to your door. It'll come on a semi truck, shows up in about under a week. So what are you putting the Mylar bags in, right? What are we talking? Are we talking 5-gallon buckets? Then get a 6-gallon bag. You don't need 7 mil. You can do it with 5. You could do it with 3. Then you need O2 absorbers. You're going to need 2,500 cc's minimum, preferably 3,500 cc's. And you can buy those off Amazon also. I think you can buy the O2 absorbers even at Uline. I think they even have them. Uline does have some stuff, like when nobody could get jars, Uline had jars. They would not sell them to you unless you were a prior customer buying jars from Uline. They just protected their previous customers. I live in the city, I'll be in trouble. It depends on the city too, right? I mean, you just got a sampling the last couple years. Did you have riots where you were? There were they tried some riots in Nashville, and they killed those motherfuckers. Like, you didn't hear about that shit they shot motherfuckers rioting in Nashville. I had dudes there's videos. I was talking to dudes while they were shooting motherfuckers. I wasn't talking to the guy shooting them, But I was talking to people. It doesn't matter. That shit didn't happen in Tennessee. They tried some of that shit in Memphis. It didn't go fucking very far, and it definitely didn't travel. Like, we didn't see any of that shit. None of it. Don, I'm doing a talk with Kevin Dixie. I'm not really sure what we're doing yet. And then I'll just get on. I don't ever have anything planned. I just kind of stand up and talk, and then you want to ask questions, then we'll take it in the direction of what people ask question-wise. The Kenosha kid, yeah, and look how much they tried to fuck him, right? They have made. I just saw a post today. If you guys should follow Red Pill Cartel on Instagram, if you can find him. And you should follow Alice in Wonderland 1776. David Harris Jr., you should follow him. And Trump Jr., you should follow him. Whether you like Trump or not, you should follow him because they are posting, and Ian Smith Fitness, Attilas Gym, you should follow him. They're all posting stuff that you're not seeing mainstream. And there's this little chubby dude comes into a bank and he can barely get up over the counter. He gets over the counter and robs the bank with no weapon. And Red Pill Cartel, I think that's where I saw it, or David Harris Jr., he said, we have made it so friendly for the criminals that a fat bank robber can rob a bank with no weapon. And then when you defend yourself, the cops arrest you. And you saw that happen with the Kenosha kid, right? With fucking, you saw that happen. The FBI had all the information, had the facts, had aerial footage, had cameras. They gave it to the prosecutors. They did not give it to the defense. And the defense got caught manipulating the photos. They got busted in court. There were journalists in court who were looking over at an angle and could see the laptop of the prosecutor, and he had the program, the photo manipulation software open. Like, it's absolutely insane that they fucking tried to railroad this kid. I'm a widow homesteading on my own. You're not alone. There's a lot of you. There's a lot of you. I see them all the time. There's a lot of prepper groups I'm in. There's a lot of homestead groups. There are a lot of you. And you just don't have the option to not, right? You're not going to fail. And you have people that have everything that have 100 excuses why they don't do fucking anything. And it just comes down to they're fucking lazy. They just want to, it's a hobby, right? It's a genre. They want to be in the costume club. They want to fucking put the costume on and drive around like they're something that they're not. And that's kind of like being in those homesteading groups. AR15.com is fucking AIDS. Like, if you go there, you'll get AIDS. But there's a lot of good information still in those homesteading groups and the survival groups on AR15.com. I had fucking 10,000 posts there before they banned me on there. But I still visit there every now and then and just read through, 30, 40 posts. There is still good information. There's people there doing. And the thing is, like, when you ask a question and somebody gives you an answer, click on their profiles. I like the Facebook groups, because if somebody comments to you or you see somebody in a Facebook group and you click their avatar picture, it pulls up all the posts they've made. Does it look like they have evidence of doing what they're giving you advice of doing? I think that's important. You can definitely learn from people without photos, but just be careful if you're going to rely and alter your life in any manner based on something somebody on the internet is telling you. If it's not clearly evident that they're doing anything of what they're teaching. The backyard chicken groups, they're great. There's so much like pussy shit in there though, like just fucking little bitchy little pussies. Same with the rabbit groups. Oh my God. Like you would think that these things are fucking $1 million racehorses, the way they tout over these things. My chicken's bleeding. A hawk came down, ripped its wing off, and they're like, oh, take it to a vet. Hit it with a fucking hammer, cut its fucking head off, and throw it in the fucking dumpster. Or eat it for fucking chicken and dumplings tonight. Like if you have an emotional attachment to those animals, I don't know what to tell you. You're going to hate farming. Yeah, so that's the thing. Like every cold snap, who said that? Every cold snap, the chicken groups, where is that? Oh, yeah, Lone Star. So they want you out there with fucking hot water bottles and heaters. They want you to sit out there and blow warm air on the chicken. Like, it's insane, these fucking people. Like, how the fuck do you think these animals are here today? They came from some animals thousands of years ago before we had electricity somehow, yet the lineage and the history is still here somehow. Just like most of these dumb people running around. You want to see what 95% of society looks like? Go to a fucking Walmart during business hours. You got grown motherfuckers walking around in footy pajamas. It literally looks like they're in a costume. How do they fucking live? Where do these fucking people come from? We keep them alive because your government is willing to take your money to give to them. You have people that produce, and you have people that fucking don't produce. And the people that don't produce, somebody steals money from you and gives it to them. I harvest my chickens. Absolutely you do. Why would you have them otherwise? Don't name what you're going to eat. Don't name anything. Don't name anything. If one of these dogs on the property gets hit and it's going to be thousands of dollars to save it, we're not saving it. What does it cost to replace it? And what does it cost to fucking save it? And what are the chances of saving it? We're not saving it. And soon, that's going to be how it is with a lot of human beings. People better come to grasp with that. Watch this AIDS stuff. You guys should all listen to Jack Spirko's show from Friday. Watch this AIDS shit. That's going to be your next one. Biden came out and said we're going to cure AIDS by 2027 or whatever. And we're going to do it with what? What are we going to do it with? A vaccine. A lot of people who took the vaccine have AIDS-like symptoms. A lot of people who took the vaccine are testing positive for HIV. You had Prince Harry come out and say that it is everybody in fucking Europe's fucking civil duty to get tested for HIV now. Never mind you've been married for 30 years to the same person. You guys have a fucking happy marriage. You all of a sudden now need to be tested for HIV. Have you seen all the HIV researchers that have died mysteriously or been murdered? Have you seen those? Have you seen those collages? Do you know there was an airplane that crashed? There's a lot of speculation the airplane was shot down. They had the top AIDS researchers in the world on it. None of them were related to Fauci, though. None of them were Fauci's people. These were all the people that said Fauci was full of shit and that HIV has nothing to do with AIDS. You were considered, if you tested positive for HIV, the first thing they did was give you AZT. When you lost 50% of your body weight with HIV, you were considered to have, that's how they diagnosed you as having AIDS. You lost 50% of your body weight. If you took a healthy person and gave them AZT, they lose 50% of their body weight. Maybe it's 20%. It kills you. AZT is a fucking highly toxic poison. But that was what they gave everybody that tested positive with HIV. Why is Magic Johnson not dead? Why are there a lot of people tested positive HIV that are running around just fine and we still let them play fucking sports together? Of course he's Biden's guy. He's been there longer than Biden. Of course he's Biden's guy. He is the highest paid government employee in the United States, Fauci. Fauci sat on AIDS for 4 years and let the fucking gay population in San Francisco, it literally decimated. They ran through they were testing in Africa and wiped out entire generations of fucking people in Africa. Just missing. The whole fucking generation is dead. Yeah, the consumer is 80% of the stock market. I hit a deer years ago and threw that sumbitch in the back of the truck. Yeah, so it's illegal here. If you hit the deer, you're not allowed to, you can't be the one that takes it. And then you're supposed to have a law enforcement officer come if you're going to take it, or I think you throw it in your truck and you go to the law enforcement because they fucking the game warden bullshit here. But yet we have dead fucking deer all over the fucking place. Like there's literally not a day goes by. That's the one thing I noticed when I moved to Tennessee is there's dead animals all over the road. Coming from San Diego, anytime there was a dead animal, there's a truck that comes out and 2 guys jump out and pick up the dead animal. You never see a dead animal in a big city. Yeah, AIDS has a real vax shot. They're marketing it all over the place, right? They fucking, I see the ads for it. I haven't seen them in a while now that you mentioned that, though. Last year, there was AIDS fucking ads all over the place. Do you have HIV? Do you want to still have non-protected sex? Here, take this fucking shot. Like, that's pretty much what the fucking commercial said. And it was all gay people. It was all gay couples or gay persons in the videos. Sewing machine would you recommend for light to medium sewing hammocks? So you're gonna need, if you're doing hammocks, you're probably doing sill tarp and stuff. The real answer, I don't know. I use a Conso 206. You're gonna need a much smaller needle. You're probably not gonna need a walking foot to do that. You're gonna need something different because it's so slick. When we get, like, even sewing 420 pack cloth, much less like 50 or 70 sill nylon, it's very slick. You're going to need different feed dogs. There are a lot of hammock making groups. There are hammock making groups on Facebook and on YouTube. I would start there, man. I don't know. I don't make hammocks. But it's a big market. If you're the dude that makes good hammocks, there is a fucking cult following for those guys, and they make a lot of money making hammocks. Even back in calming Maryland, you could pick up car animals. Hunt license made it a guarantee to take. When shit hits the fan, the deer population will be decimated. Absolutely it will. I mean, look at the Great Depression. People were taking tumbleweeds and pickling them. They weren't eating them because there were squirrels around left in the parks. There wasn't no pigeons, no deer, no turkey. That comes from careful management. All that license money, like our game guys here, like they do a lot of work. Like I see, like we're close to a wildlife area, at least our guys here. Like that's a fucking job I wouldn't want to do. I mean, it's fucking like real work. Spotlighting happens all the time around here, remote roads. Have you ever had arthritis? And if so, did change your diet help? So I hurt all the time. I always hurt. There's never a day I get up in the morning and I think I feel good. And it's been that way for 30 years probably. I just ignore it, take Motrin. I have carpal tunnel. I need surgery on my right side. Amanda had carpal tunnel surgery done. And it fixed it perfectly. Like she's much better, or I think she is. I just push through it, man. I don't have an answer. What was your question? Have you ever had arthritis? Did it change? Change the diet. So sugar, you got to cut. And I'm not the dude. I don't know. I'm going to give you advice here that I have not done myself, because I like donuts. You need to remove carbs and sugar. And if you're like, well, I can't do that, well, then you don't fucking hurt enough. So if it's not willing to try for a couple weeks, try keto. Try the keto diet, try carnivore. All of your carbs and your sugar causes inflammation. And if you can lower the inflammation, it should lower all of those problems. So I would start there. And if you're like, I can't do that, I need my sugar, well, then you don't fucking hurt enough. And I guess that's my deal, is that I don't hurt enough because I still function, I still get a ton of shit done, and I still fucking eat donuts. I mean, I eat fucking, it's not donuts, man. It's pastry or muffins, or I just like eating sweet shit. And it's probably not that I'm addicted to sugar. It's probably that I'm addicted to wheat flour. They all have flour in the things I like to eat. I have kidney disease called PKD. I've heard of that. And it's nothing but pain. So the only thing to do is live your life and laugh. I have friends that believe in the financial reset and we will get back what's been taken from us. Well, Beth, I fucking certainly hope so. I absolutely hope so. But let's plan on that not happening, right? Let's plan for the worst, hope for the best, but don't hopium, right? Hopium. Don't let that slow you down. If you have money coming in, right, whatever that money is, hopefully not a fixed income, but if it is, keep stocking things away, right? Keep making it so that you can feed yourself. When the USSR broke up, in the cities in the USSR, in the major cities, they had bread lines. You were allowed to go to the grocery store one day out of the week, and you'd go to the grocery store, and you would stand in line, depending on where you were in line and who you bribed and who knew you. You would stand in line and get to your time to go in the grocery store, and there would be a couple of things in the grocery store. And you would get to buy whatever was there. Sometimes it was bread, sometimes it was flour, it was never meat. But the people who were out rural in those places, the old farmers, the people that were growing stuff, they didn't notice it so much because they were still growing stuff. So let's hope we get back what's ours, whatever that means. I'm sure that means different things to different people. But the average U.S. citizen pays over half of their dollar that they earn in taxes. You pay taxes on everything you buy, everything you transfer. There's a tax for everything. And now they're making it so that when you die and people inherit, they want 40% of everything that's inherited. That they're trying to dissolve all the big farms that are privately held. So if you got a farm grandpa's had in the family for 100 years, whatever, passed down to him, 1,000 acres. When the kids inherit the farm, farms don't make any money, so they can't pay that 40, and they want to evaluate all the property at the current sale value, not what it was purchased for, not what it was last appraised for. They want to appraise it and who would pay what for it right now, and that's what they want to tax you on, and you can't afford to pay it. Farms aren't fucking profitable. So what do they have to do? They have to sell off 400 of the acres in order to keep the 600. Who buys it? BlackRock, one of the big fucking conglomerates, buys it. Whoever buys it, Bill Gates. Yeah, that ultimately one of those guys ends up with it. It's all by design. It's just to take and take and take and to keep you separated. You got to keep them separated and to keep you in a lower position. It literally is, if you haven't watched The Hunger Games or read the books, The Hunger Games, just watch The Hunger Games. That literally is crazy motherfuckers who have no concept of what life really is like because they were born into it and they've never seen anything different. If you took any of those people and put them out in the normal world themselves, they couldn't function. They would have no idea how to fucking survive. Or Snowpiercer. Can you put a farm in a trust? You can put a farm in a trust. There are ways to do that. I'm here to learn, but finance is my shit. Right now, lower the amount you save, invest by 50%. Use that extra money to get things that you need. Use every day, tomorrow toilet paper. Where did that fucking comment go? Who even said that? Lights, dogs driving down bright lights. So save by buying it today. Austin, was that you saying that? All your fucking super dudes, your elite guys right now, right? All your super money guys. They're selling off all their stocks. All the CEOs are stepping down and liquidating their stock. They have to resign as CEO to legally liquidate the stock. They're taking that cash. They're not putting cash in the bank. They're not putting cash into the stock market. They're all pulling they're selling all their money. They're selling it and converting to cash. They're buying assets, helicopters, fucking property, boats, whatever, right? When the US dollar collapses, the boat will still be in demand. The helicopter will still be in demand. They're buying things that they can convert to whatever they need to convert it to. But it holds value. Warren Buffett has it sold. But what is Warren Buffett involved in? He just bought all the fucking railways coming down from Canada. The dollar has collapsed. The 1% hasn't told everyone else. I would agree with that, man. Got deleted for some reason. Basically invest in goods that you need. That's a trip, Austin. So you didn't delete that. I was reading it mid-sentence and it fucking vaporized. That happened the other night too. Almost like somebody is sitting here reading this. Like we have a screener in the background watching that shit. But that's absolutely it, right? The dollar hasn't devalued. Really? The dollar hasn't devalued? If you had $1,000 in your safe 2 years ago, how much toilet paper would $1,000 have bought, let's say 3 years ago, right? How much toilet paper could you have bought 3 years ago compared to today with the $1,000? And you're going to tell me the dollar hasn't fucking devalued? I received my Woodland micro rig, first piece of SOE gear, amazing craftsmanship. I'm glad you like it, man. I have some other Woodland stuff if that's your jam. I like Woodland. I really like Woodland with multicam black on it. I've got a couple mini packs up front. I love those little backpacks. I've been meaning to take one offline and just keep it myself. I had one and I gave it to a friend and I don't have one. And I carried it with me every weekend. My dad died recently. Looked into transfer of death paperwork. Most states have it. Avoids probate. You don't hold stake during that person's life. Once dead, the property transfers to you, no penalty. I think they're trying to get away from that. I think they did or they are about to make it so you can't do that anymore. Now, obviously, you know a lot more about it than I do. He's had those railways. One reason the pipeline was stopped. Yes, he bought all those railways. That's why the pipeline was stopped. How about the CEO of, is it Pfizer? CEO of Pfizer stepped down as CEO, has been liquidating all of his stock in Pfizer. Was it Pfizer? I should have got the Woodland coveralls. Moderna. Dawn, type that out in several sentences. Maybe it'll stick. Mark Cuban said 2018 to buy in bulk everything you can for the average family, as this would be the best way to save money. Yeah, deleted his social media, left his company, converted all his stock into cash. Woodland is still the best in Central Great Plains. I'm addicted to Woodland. Most states, upon death, you have to go through probate. My buddy is trying to sell me a car for $250 that his dad's. We can't get a title without going through probate. Check SOE main page PM when you... Will Carrot, what do you want? What do you want, Will? If it's about an order, I can't do shit through Facebook. Like, you didn't buy it off Facebook. I need you to find your confirmation email and reply to it. You're never going to get anything off Facebook. And when you message special operations equipment through Facebook, I get 1,000 of those fucking things a day. Like, I see them, but if it's not actionable, I don't. And if you've sent me a link to something I have to read, I won't ever read it. I have no idea who you are, though. I mean, I recognize your name. Multicam black diaper bag. Got it. Okay, I know who you are. Yes, we're going to build them, I think, Monday. We'll put them in there. Send me an email right now or another message or whatever. Multicam black just came in the building. Do I make diaper bags? We do make diaper bags. Here's some right here. We do them with pink thread or green thread or whatever. I currently have Coyote that can ship to you, and I have Multicam with pink thread that can ship to you. We're about to build a few in Multicam, so if you would like one, now is your chance to get one. They take a long time to get. People buy the bags and then get pregnant because they have the bag. You can use them as a range bag afterwards. You can see them online. There's a pretty good video we made embedded in there on the diaper bag page on the website. They look like this. These will hold 3 bottles on the front. They will also hold 4 PMags on the front. We gave you pals on the side, so you can put Nalgene bottles or whatever. The entire inside of the bag is Velcro lined, so you can put our mesh pockets or our mag card organizers or whatever you want. The bag's pretty good size. It's a lot bigger than it looks sitting right here. Right? The footprint is 6 inches across. And then on the back here, you have Velcro inside this wall here so that it's cross draw. You can use a holster in there, Velcroed in. And then this pocket here, you can put a fold-up changing pad in there. But the size of the pocket on the back, it's big. It'll hold a full-size, full format magazine, like Recoil magazine. Original ATAX is better than Woodland for hunting in the Great Plains. Well, unfortunate for you, there is no more original ATAX. They stopped making it. So you get IX now, or you get Ghost. I think the original ATAX. Jace from Duck Commander has a house in Tennessee. The coyotes have killed all his chickens. Well, Jace from Duck Commander's got millions of dollars. So all he needs is a fence and some dogs. We use fences to keep dogs in. We use dogs to keep predators out. And if chickens are his problem and Tennessee something's eating them, it's probably foxes or coyotes. All he needs is some Great Pyrenees dogs. 2 of them will probably do it. Great Pyrenees, maybe add an Anatolian. There's 100 different kinds of livestock breeding dogs he could get. I find it almost impossible that he doesn't have that knowledge. So, I mean, unless you know him, it's probably being put up there for content. I mean, I'm not doubting that it happens, but it's up there for conversation and content. All right, guys, I'm out of here. 1 Great Pyrenees can guard up to 100 acres. Yep. I've got 2 females, and then I've got a big male dog that's not a Great Pyrenees. I have another female dog coming that's also not a Great Pyrenees. And if you're in like just your farmer groups, right? I'm in West Tennessee Farm Group, West Tennessee Livestock. There's several like that. Livestock dogs, there's some Anatolians for sale about 20 minutes from here that look really good. All right, guys, out of here. Good night.